James Comey has reasserted himself in the campaign to just say, like, hey, man, I don't know. Something might come out, might not, but I'm just letting everybody know. And all of a sudden, Donald Trump, who had previously been whining and freaking out about James Comey, and James Comey was part of the rigging and it was unfair and blah, blah, blah. Well, at a campaign appearance in Grand Rapids, Michigan, just the other day, now all of a sudden, he's pretty happy with James Comey, but he also has some words of warning.
And I have to give the FBI credit. That was so bad what happened originally, and it took guts for Director Comey to make the move that he made in light of the kind of opposition he had where they're trying to protect her from criminal prosecution. You know that. It took a lot of guts. I really disagreed with him. I was not his fan. But I'll tell you what he did, he brought back his reputation. He brought it back. He's got to hang tough because there's a lot of people want him to do the wrong thing. What he did was the right thing.
Okay, so he brought back his reputation as a hack Republican operative. And let's be clear here. Again, for all of the stories about Hillary Clinton, and some of them are very important and very valid, and we're going to need to keep talking about them and be very aggressive. But you have a narrative that goes from everything from outlandish nonsense about her ordering hits on people to this constant quest to be like, oh my God, did you see this new WikiLeaks email? Hillary Clinton said that Bernie Sanders was a dick. Or some operative said that. And as Bernie himself said, if you opened up our emails, we don't say nice things about Hillary either because you're competing for a fucking primary. But there's one candidate who has used his platform as a major party nominee to, and I don't get into the Russia conspiracy stuff that much. Some of that is very poorly sourced, but he did himself publicly urge Russia to engage in essentially espionage against in terms of our election. And he is demanding that the FBI pursue criminal charges against his opponent who he promised to put in jail while he was on stage. And at Hillary Clinton, she said, yeah, this guy is stirring up bigotry and a delusional, rampant misogynist, bigot, incompetent, because anybody who has sentient awareness could recognize that. She said all that. She didn't say, Eric Schneider in New York, Eric Schneiderman, he better find that Donald Trump's guilty of fraud with his Trump University thing. He better find that. I know he's under a lot of pressure, but we all know what went on there. And you know what, Donald? Between the fake charity and the fake university and the tax scheming and the probable connections to Russian underworld figures and maybe even some things in your personal life, well, I hate to say it, but you're going to jail. She hasn't said anything remotely like that. And every day I see on my timeline in all of these places, including people on the left, tweeting out outlandish nonsense about her when there is an embarrassment of riches of real things to say about her and her husband. But at the same time, you actually do have a candidate who is, again, Paul Ryan voted for him. We'll get to that in a second. Who is the Republican Party nominee who has white nationalists running robocalls on his behalf, who has called for her to be in prison and is actively trying to bully the head of the FBI, who apparently has capitulated to him that there needs to be criminal charges. Let's put that all in a little bit of reality perspective. And remember that when we vote in a little over a week. You can say they're both terrible. You can have legitimate criticism both. You can have a more sophisticated understanding of why some people in the Midwest and all the rest would respond to Trump, like Michael Moore brought up the other day. That's all very important. You might even think it's a bleak situation with no good outs. Fine. But to say that this is all the equivalent same thing and there's no difference, you're playing a fucking fantasy game, which could have serious repercussions, and already does, in terms of the bounds of debate and what has happened already. Anyway.
What is your impression of what's going on at the FBI? Because, I mean, from my perspective, it looks like James Comey is trying to keep a lid on a bunch of right-wing, FBI agents that are, I don't know. It's like it doesn't look like he has control of it, and those are the pressures that are making him act this way.
I think that could be true, but I mean, whether you have a sympathetic or non-sympathetic interpretation of Comey, the process is totally out of control. And there is no way that that should have happened. So if there is a reality that there's a bunch of far-right FBI agents who want to use their perch to try to dislodge Hillary Clinton and spread a story about her before the election, well, that's the emergency thing to bring to the notice of Congress. Not that, oh, there's more emails out there and we'll see. It's that we have a bunch of rogue, crazy agents who are trying to use every possibility they have to influence an election.
Yeah, but a few weeks ago, he didn't want to say that he didn't want to announce. He didn't want the government to make an announcement that that Russia was involved. So the right wing, like, conspiracy part of the FBI thing. I mean, that doesn't fit with that.
But I don't know, because
If they want Trump to win, though,
if they want.
Like, I mean, that's the thing is, like, I mean, they're
Yeah.
probably different agents, but you look at all these stories that come out about what's really going on with Hillary's emails and stuff, and it's all from unnamed FBI agents.
Right.
And,
Right.
like, I see people that are listeners to our show sending me this stuff.
Right.
And it's absolutely ludicrous that
Right.
you're going to send me an article by some unknown FBI agent.
By like
you're
a
supposed to trust
future
that.
WorldNet Daily columnist who's going to write a book that says, from my extensive experience in the FBI, Michelle Obama is a transsexual and Barack Obama is a Muslim. And you're tweeting that out as if that is a credible thing about these fucking emails. It's embarrassing. It's ridiculous. Now, look, the responsible thing in my view is not to comment on any of it, because some of those Russia stories are totally poorly sourced and embarrassing as well. Now, the Manafort stuff is totally out in the open and we know about it. And we know that Trump, just as a personality, digs authoritarians and has authoritarian pretensions himself. But, you know, that Mother Jones story is an example that people were sharing over the weekend, saying that Trump is actually almost like some type of Russian Manchurian asset. It's based off of one unnamed source. I mean, I'm sorry, again, that's fucking embarrassing. And then you have Hillary people on the other side, you know, pumping that out. And it's ludicrous. I mean, you give me a couple more sources, I don't discount the possibility. But an ex-FBI agent saying, I saw this, and then another unnamed FBI agent saying that other unnamed FBI agent is credible, does not a story make for anything. For anything.
Hey, it's Sam Seder. Why don't you subscribe to this channel? You can do so right over here. Subscribe.